Hi y'all, Easy Slider here. Welcome to the go-to channel for all your long-distance relationship needs. Now I'd like to take just a second to thank all the new subscribers and the old subscribers for joining us. Giving you information you might need, well, that's what we do. So let's get to it. Hotel and airline tips visiting your long-distance relationship partner. Okay, you got everything all planned out, right? You're ready to go. Really? You think so? Airlines and hotels are all booked, right? What agency did you book them through? Do you know that different booking agencies have different policies that can cause you a ton of problems? Did you know that? Unless you're a seasoned traveler, I bet you already have a future problem you don't even know about. But that's okay. It will find you. Remember Murphy's Law. You know, if you've ever experienced any kind of problems when you've been booking hotels or airlines or anything, leave us a comment below and tell us what happened to you where we can learn from your experiences too. Did you make your airline plans in advance? Well, it suggests you get your tickets at least 6 to 8 months in advance for international flights, and some say that probably 10 months is a lot better. So what kind of problems does booking in advance cause? Well, probably a lot more than you know. The reason for booking in advance is twofold. One is to make sure that you're able to get a ticket and hopefully the seats that you desire. I found that international travel is usually full, booked up, so booking early is better. The second reason is keeping the cost lower, because the closer to the date that you're going to leave, the higher those prices are going to get. All right, so booking further out can save you a lot of money. But what problems does that cause? Well, there can be several, so let's talk about them. When we book our flights, you know, we have a set date that we're going to be leaving in mind, and so we get everything all set up for that. Now, I find that many of the international flights don't have as many departure times, so you're forced to take whatever they have, but usually that's not a problem. However, the date might be a problem. Let me explain. My experience has been that when we buy our tickets for the dates that we want and the times that we want, then a period of time passes and you get an email that states they had to make a change in your flight. What they do is they offer you a different date and time, or they offer you a refund. Now be careful, because this can be really tricky because the layover times can change. You know, what can happen is the time that you need to change from one plane to the other plane can be shortened. And if you don't watch that close, what happens might happen to you, what happened to me, that I got stuck for 15 hours in an airport. But did you know this is a trick to get you to cancel? They want you to rebook another flight. Yeah, they really do. My last flight was booked 6 months in advance. And during that 6 months, my flight changed 9 times. Now, they give you a choice each time, either to accept the changes or to rebook. I always chose to accept the changes, but that led me to a 15-hour layover in Seoul, Korea. And I can tell you, that was one long 15 hours. Now, I know you probably already thought, well, why didn't I just cancel and rebook? Well, that's where the trick is. As often happens when booking months in advance, the ticket prices will change over the period of time as you're getting closer to your time to leave. If you're booked at a lower price and they can get you to cancel and then rebook a different flight, they can charge you the higher prices. So if you've got a big difference there, they want that higher prices. And you might be asking yourself, is that really much of a difference in cost? And the answer could be yes. a lot more than you would ever dream. So your choices: less convenience or much higher prices. But it don't stop there. An important thing is who you book through. As you already know, there's a bunch of companies that you can use to book a flight, but the huge word is use caution. Many times we book a flight through a company rather than directly through the airlines, and the reason is simple: it's cost. Airlines is a much higher price, so we opt for the other companies to book the flight at a lower price. Well, naturally, we think we'll be okay, but beware, because all of the booking companies are not the same. The last flight that I booked, as I mentioned, the flight changed 9 times. Now, I had all my paperwork showing all the changes and that I had paid for everything. And I suggest you print a hard copy of all that and keep it. I had a little thick stack of it, okay? Upon arrival at the airport at 5 o'clock in the morning, I don't even get up that early, I went to the desk to get checked in, and I got a bad shock. They didn't even have me listed as having a ticket. Got all my paperwork out, and I showed them the changes, and I showed them the confirmations, and so they immediately went to work checking things out. What they found out was that the last change the company made, instead of making the changes after I confirmed it and approved of it, they canceled my ticket. They didn't notify me, and I didn't receive a refund. Now, mind you, I'm talking about a $2,000 ticket. We're not talking peanuts here. They just took my $2,000 and didn't even mention it. Well, the airlines went to work on it trying to help me, and they told me there might not be anything they could do because it wasn't booked through the airlines, but they would try. And I told them the reason. I said, the reason I booked through an agency is cost, and they understand. They know that. They told me, though, in the future, find the cost from the agencies and then call the airlines and talk to them. Tell them the price that was quoted and ask if the airlines could match it. They said oftentimes they could, or at least get close to it, give you a better price on your ticket. And by booking through the airlines, if a problem arises, they can fix it. Well, long story short, after 3.5 hours, they were able to fix it, but it was touch and go, and I can promise you, I was worried the whole time. Now, if they could have fixed it, if they couldn't have fixed it, I'd have had a real serious problem, because I'd have had to wait another week to get a plane because all of them were booked up. And worse, my already booked hotels would be charging me for a room I couldn't even stay in. Wow. Now, if you find the information that we're giving helpful, I want to ask you, please subscribe, where you can always be getting the information that'll be saving you time, it saves you money, and I can tell you, it saves you a lot of stress. Trust me on that one. Okay. I think now you're kind of getting an idea of the problems that you could face booking in advance. Am I saying don't book in advance? No. It's necessary. You have to. I'm just warning you of the problems to watch for and know that they can happen. But what about hotels? Aren't they safe to book in advance? Well, of course they are, right? No problems. Well, the way I book hotels now is very different than when I first began traveling. I'm usually on the road a lot when I get to the Philippines, so I would book many hotels in advance. Now I don't do that, all right? And there's certainly a reason. Usually I'll only book my first hotel for 2 or 3 nights. Now, even if I'm going to be staying in that city for a week or 2 weeks or a month, only 2 or 3 nights. And here's the reason why. When you arrive at the hotel, you might find out that the hotel that you booked has some kind of problem that you're unaware of. One of the hotels I booked at for 2 weeks in advance, well, when I arrived, I found the hotel was being remodeled. And that's not the first time that's happened to me. I had a ground floor, and right outside my window, they were working. Well, starting at 7 o'clock every morning, the radio came on and my sleep was over. Another problem was that they didn't have enough towels, and by the time they finally got to my room, they didn't have any towels left. Oh, that was great. Now, the problem was there was a special event going on in the city and all the hotels were booked and even all the rooms, so I couldn't even change rooms. I learned, only book a few days. Then if there's a problem, you can relocate. Now, 3 days would have allowed the event to be over, and there'd have been many hotels that had openings, and I could have eliminated my problem. So if you think that's a big deal and that's all of it, well, I got a surprise for you. There's more. The different hotels sites have different policies. Some allow you to book without a credit card. Some allow you to cancel if you do it within a certain period of time. You know, they're each trying to get your business, so they're offering you different things that look appealing to you. And for the most part, they're honest, but some might not be. Remember I mentioned how the company canceled my plane ticket? Well, companies that book hotels might also have shady sides. Yes, that's a fact. You want to know another trick they use? Oh boy. You know, most of us, when we book a hotel in advance, for a reason. We want to do that because we want to have a place when we get to the city that we can go to. We don't want to be looking for a hotel, and it just makes it easier. We go online, we compare all the different companies, all the different hotels, and we compare their prices, all right? We could see the same hotel with different prices, and I mean prices that are really different. That's not unusual. I literally have seen the same hotel room with a price difference of $100 US or more. It don't make sense to pay the extra. So we choose the lower price. You know, that's just what we do. Well, I'm going to tell you, one such company that always offers the lowest price is Agoda. Now, I was headed to a new city, and I'd seen all the prices, and as usual, Agoda was a tiny bit cheaper. They're usually not a lot cheaper, but a small amount. And over a period of time, you know, that small amount can add up. They had a statement on their website: if you cancel within 5 days before arrival, you'll not be charged a fee for cancellation. Well, usually that wasn't important to me anyway because I was going. Well, I booked a hotel and secured it with a credit card, which a lot of them require you to do. It's time to leave, got a little bit closer. I got sick. I had to be hospitalized. I called and canceled the hotel well before the 5 days required. Then I received an email that I wasn't going to be charged because I'd canceled before the 5 day period. And I thought everything was okay. The following month, I got my credit card statement and I saw that I had been charged over $100 US for canceling. And I do mean a good bit over 100, okay? I called them and I told them to get a refund, I'd have to prove they had charged me. So I went back to my credit card statement, and guess what? They didn't use their name. They charged under a different name. Now, you'll see that sometimes. You'll buy something from a company, and when you get your bill, it'll be under a different name, and that's what they do. And they told me that if I wanted to get a refund, I was going to have to fill out a whole bunch of paperwork, and they wasn't going to give me a guarantee. Well, I went to the site. Guess what? I found out the 5 day policy had been removed. But I wasn't worried. I had my email. So I went to my email and I found it, the one that they had sent me. And then I opened it up, and lo and behold, all the information on the inside had vanished. When they sent it, they used one of those programs that would vanish after so many days. Wow. Then I learned they operated out of the country where we had no legal recourse. Later on, when I did return back to the United States, I talked to one of my sons who works in a hotel, and he told me the majority of problems they had with these booking sites was with Agoda, and that they did things like this. It was pretty common. But then he suggested I do what the airlines had suggested to do. Get a quote and call the hotel. Ask them if they could match the quote. He said often they would. If they couldn't match it, at least you would have time to pick from a different company to book with, one that you had more faith in. You know, when we're new to traveling, we tend to trust the companies, and most are good for their word. However, some aren't, so be careful. And don't be like me and learn the hard way. Compare your prices, then make a few phone calls to make sure you're not being scammed. Now, I hope that this has opened your eyes to a few of the hidden problems that you might not have encountered before, and it gives you a way to avoid them because you learn about them. If you feel like this has helped you, please subscribe. It's all about helping each other. You know, we're in this long distance relationship journey together, and so we're just trying to help each other out. Now, let's just slide on over to our next video, where we're going to explore the exciting world of LDR even more. Come on.